dark skeleton, being the black-boned demon skeleton of a man whose strength faltered and failed in a place rife with darkness. They are driven by the need to create more of their ilk, and so they exude dark energies, polluting all around them. The greater their number in a given area, the more likely it is that others will join their eternal vigil. Emperor Avis, called Emperor for the intricate pattern upon its wings, much resembling exquisite embroideries such as one might find upon an emperor's robe. Living mainly in deep ravines and gulches in mountainous terrain, their eyesight has deteriorated in the dark so that now they hunt primarily by their other senses. They sense much through their distinctive horn, which serves withal as a vicious weapon for impaling foes. Garuda XII, being the legendary foe of the worms, as told in the legend of the dragons. Living atop only the highest peaks, they feed primarily on serpents. Natural philosophers have confirmed the existence of two distinct kinds: the Garuda, whose glimmering gold wings distinguish it as original stock, and the Garuda XII, whose wings have lost their brilliant luster. Many are the cultures that regard these creatures as gods for their auspicious appearance. Ice elemental, being an elemental of ice from the freezing blizzards of the north. The coming of such beings is perceived differently by the various peoples of Ivalis. To some, it is a holy thing, blessed and ephemeral as the passing of the seasons. To others, it is the harbinger of hard times. As a matter of fact, cold spells do visit the places where ice elementals gather, but research into the precise nature of their relationship with the weather is frozen, so to speak, no new discoveries having been made in years. White wolf, being a variety of wolf adapted to life in frozen mountain regions, with long white fur to protect it from the bitter cold and camouflage it against the snow. Their shining blue eyes can see even in the fiercest blizzard, useful in judging the position of others in the pack when coordinating attacks. XII. Long ago, the gods looked down upon the warring peoples of this land and were displeased. Wishing to contain their violence, the gods arrested time upon the battlefield, thinking to imprison those who fought there. But violence would not be so contained. It spread beyond its confines, contaminating other lands, and soon conflict was rampant once again. In their grief, the gods made a scourging blizzard to rage, and when the blizzard lifted, men looked to the skies and found they were alone. This fateful tumult is said to have given birth to the XII. Twintania, being a strain of plate worm residing in the dark reaches of the Paramina Rift, having evolved feathered covering to protect against the harsh cold. Its smooth metallic carapace is coated in an oily secretion which prevents snow from adhering to its surface. According to legend, mages once used these creatures in the working of great magic, powerful enough to destroy all Ivalis, yet little is recorded about the magic itself. Lizard, being a flesh-eating beast with 4 horns atop its head, sheathed and scaled, much like those of a dragon, lives in humid grasslands where it digs tunnels with its powerful forelimbs. Its extendable tongue, situated toward the front of its mouth, is divided into 4 at the tip. The creature uses it as a whip to snare prey. Thus captured, still wriggling meals are bound in viscous saliva and stored for later consumption. Slaven Wander, being beasts once used to pull freight sledges filled with heavy materials over rough mountainous terrain. With innovations in transportation, they grew scarce, and now only a few remain, and these feral. Stores of fat under the thick hide of their backs provided sustenance when famine visited the cold, barren climes where they once worked. Observers have attested to the impressive efficacy of these deposits, individuals having reportedly survived for over a year without nourishment. Skull Knight, being an ancient knight whose elegant bearing betrays nothing of the weight of his thick steel armor. He wields a spear the expert grace of elder times. In the distant past, in a war fought in a land of extreme cold, those that lost their lives became undead, being henceforth called the Brothers of Bone. their numbers being equal to the losses on both sides, returning them all to the land's warm embrace, would be an epic undertaking. XII. A thick coat of fur is the perfect protection against the cold in the snow-covered mountain ranges where these creatures reside. In olden times it was said that mountain gods lived in the snowy crags, and villagers would offer them sacrifices for their good favor. Now it is widely believed that these gods were, in fact, Yeti, who had succeeded in cowing superstitious local residents. Wild onion, thought to be a variant of mandragora, for the vines that reach up from its collar, covering its face like a mask. Notes the famed naturalist Melrose, it weareth its skin in layers, much like to the root of similar name, perhaps for the proffering of protection against the cold. Men say the great gaping orifice on its face was gouged by a shard of ice, born of a midsummer blizzard, though its former mouth was passing small, befitting naught but low whimpering. Its prodigious new one screameth full loud and full much as the foul beast could want, thence earning it its name.